Baldest Jew in the government has dropped a truth bomb on the world that's left everybody shaken to their core. Today, we are talking about the Democrat scams that they have been pushing onto everybody all the way across the board, whether it's stealing elections, fake bomb threats against New Jersey polling stations, getting rid of voter ID, importing illegals to vote, giving our taxpayer dollars to illegals, SNAP benefits to people that don't deserve it, getting people that were dead to allegedly be collecting stuff. Now, it is important to note that Caleb Hammer, a guy that does financial audits, normally of retards, did a financial audit of the governor of Michigan. So, just another classic example of a financial audit of retards. But first, you have to understand exactly where we are as a society here in America. All right, let's see what the bald Jew has to say.
For your audience perfectly, Sean, this was not a loophole. The Biden administration, Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, devised a scheme to fly illegal aliens into the country and then to escort them en masse across the border by the millions, and to give them something known as parole, which gives them a work permit, which gives them a social security number, which gives them access to the voting booth. This was the plan all along, to get them here illegally so they can get free government benefits, get hooked.
Free government benefits doesn't mean free. Free government benefits means I pay taxes. Those taxes go to illegals.
To welfare and be able to participate in American elections.
That's right. A plan to A, bankrupt the natural citizens, B, destroy the economy, C, own them and their votes forever.
This was an attack on democracy by the Democrat Party. It's the same attack that we see.
I'm so happy that someone actually in the White House is saying this. And we're not just hearing this like on podcasts or for me, because I've been saying this for months. This has literally been something I've been saying for months. This has been an orchestrated, planned assault on democracy where they import a underclass to society to bitch and scream about billionaires while they come in as foreigners and steal elections forever. And you don't understand. The next Democrat that we have in power might be the last Democrat. In fact, might be the last election ever. You don't understand what we are on the brink of.
Sean, when you have California, a sanctuary state, that is refusing to turn over even illegal alien criminals and gang members to ICE. So these are illegal aliens in California who have been arrested by California police, by California law enforcement for serious crimes, for crimes against children, for felonies, for crimes that threaten public safety, and they are refusing to hand these criminal illegal aliens over to ICE. Instead, they're freeing them back into the cities to offend and offend again. By any definition, what California is doing is criminal. It is a violation of our laws. It is one of the most heinous things that I have seen in my entire...
Bro's just spitting. He's just spitting straight and utter facts. And I'm really happy that people are actually starting to talk about this and notice this and, you know, directly bring this to the attention of the Democrats, because I think this is the biggest case of fraud in American history. It really is. Oh, that's just a picture of Asmongold. It really is. Now, if you notice, it's a perfect sphere. As you can see, the radius, and it's absolutely diabolical. This is a 90-degree angle right here. It's perfect. He's perfect. Anyway, the golden ratio. Anywho, now there are other instances of this being noticed, because now that the Democrats voted to shut down the government, all right? The Democrats voted to shut down the government. This is supposed to be a serious video. None of my videos are serious videos, but they're also incredibly serious. You will note, if you watch me, I will give you all the information you need to know about the world while simultaneously giving you a nice chuckle and reminding you that ultimately life is not just about misery. Life is also about serving God with joy in your heart and a little bit of misery. So anyway, you have to understand what's happening. The Democrats voted to shut down the government. When the government got shut down, everyone was crying that they're not getting SNAP benefits. They're not getting benefits that the government was giving out. Now, a lot of people started noticing that a lot of these people complaining about not getting benefits are not legal in the country. as Tucker Carlson would say. That's diabolical.
Day one of USDA, February 13th, is we sent letters to every governor in America being very clear that no illegal aliens can use SNAP. 0, 0, 0. We asked every state for the first time in history, and this was in February, to send us their data and let us, with Doge and a war room, actually start going through this data to better understand how this explosion of SNAP benefits happened under Joe Biden. We increased...
Right, great question. Why is it that SNAP benefits tripled under Biden? Could we please get some sort of list? Some sort of list of all of the people on the benefits to make sure that they're legal in the country? I don't know. This sounds like you're scamming us of $100 billion a month.
Almost 40% on this program in just a couple of years under the Biden administration. Of course, we know they were trying to buy the election, but that's a conversation for another time.
I mean, they tried. They tried to buy the election.
And since we have asked for that data,
You want to know something insane? You want to know something absolutely diabolical? The right-wing conspiracy theories were always correct. They were always right. Do you not understand how insane this is? Give me the Snapstein list now. The conspiracies were always correct. All of them. And the media went from, oh, that's just a conspiracy theory, to, oh, that's not happening, to, oh, it is happening, but now it's, oh, it is happening and it's also a good thing.
9 states have complied. Of course, almost all the red states, a couple of the couple blue states too. But in that data, and I haven't talked about this yet publicly, in that data we've studied about $100 billion in spend.
All right.
We have found thousands and thousands of illegal use of the EBT card.
You don't say. Illegal use of benefits during the Biden campaign to the tune of maybe $100 billion. Pretty not good.
We have been moving people off of SNAP. We've got almost 700,000 people, I think, we've moved off just since the president.
Absolute W. They auto-penned the EBT benefits to dead people and illegals.
President took office. We've arrested about 118 people.
Damn.
So this has been ongoing. But
they arrested 118 people.
Rachel, to your point, what this conversation has allowed is a national spotlight on a broken and corrupt program.
The Democrats didn't realize how badly they screwed up with this government shutdown. They thought they were just going to be able to pressure Trump, but they ended up awakening a sleeping giant. They ended up waking the American people up to another multi-$100 billion scam fraud scheme that they were running for years. All right, we didn't know it was this bad. None of us knew it was this bad. See, I knew it was bad. I didn't know it was this bad. They pissed everyone off with this one.
Found one guy in 6 different states getting a benefit. We found about 5,000.
And they love it. They're turning us into we all vote for capitalism and they turn us into socialism anyway with scams and frauds. Where, again, they import an underclass to completely parasitically siphon off from people that are actually working for a living.
People that are dead who are still getting benefits. Yeah. It is time to drastically reform this program so that we can make sure that the
fucking commies deport.
Those who are truly needy, truly vulnerable are getting what they need, and the rest of the corruption goes away, and we can serve the American taxpayer.
True. These benefits ultimately were created for people that needed them, someone who with some sort of disability that prevented them from getting a job. Not every single woman on TikTok who's crying about having secret ultra disorder of the mind and how realistically they can't work because it offends them to stand behind the desk at a McDonald's for so long. Right? They aren't mentally up for the task. All right? They are girl bosses and they should be treated as such. As they complain about how they are not actually able to do anything. This is insane, man. It's absolutely insane. So Caleb Hammer decided to do an interview, a financial audit of Michigan with the governor of Michigan, which I think is massively cool. And I would love to see Caleb Hammer doing this type of stuff with everyone because I hope, apparently he destroys her. I'm very excited to see. Get ready for the word salad responses. I think every single dollar that these people are sending and siphoning to illegal immigrants, they should be sued for. By the government. I mean this with all seriousness. Every single person that was siphoning our tax dollars to illegals should be treated as thieves. So, lock in, boys and girls. We're about to watch a train wreck.
Ladies and gentlemen, special episode today with the governor of Michigan. I'm going to be auditing the state's finances, but quick little...
The state finances, man. That's crazy.
To say, hey, this is the day before Election Day across the country. Make sure you take advantage of your right to vote. Get out there, vote. Lots of state and local elections, and I think one federal election for a special
Yeah, so this is the day after the election. So, this is funny because I'm recording this video before I know what happened in New York. This video will be uploaded after we know if New York became an Islamic caliphate of New Yorkistan or not. So, future Nux, I wish you the best of luck.
National run here in Texas. Just make sure you get out there and vote. Enjoy the episode.
You got to use tariffs like a scalpel, not a sledgehammer to everything.
That's a political talking point. I've never heard one of those in person. That's wild. Food stamps, let's just say, or food assistance. Have we set up our systems in a way we're also just discouraging people from going out there and being contributors? This is the part of the show where I usually go through the spending, and it's like, we got some bullshit spending in there. We got some fucking taquitos. This is some bull.
Oh, fucking killer. I mean, obviously, in debate, killer with words. I am an advocate of no violence unless it's self-defense, in which case I am an advocate for ruthless, legal, defensive violence. But if it's not defensive and legal, I do not advocate for it, unless it's with words. Please publicly humiliate her. I want her in jail. I don't know anything about. I want her in jail.
Yeah, you're stopping in the gas station, get yourself some bullshit.
Off.
Political extremism. It's scary. Yeah. What do you think is going on with political extremism right now?
Well, apparently he asks her about Charlie Kirk. Someone told me about that.
Would you solve it?
Your blood got thin moving down south, didn't it?
Yeah. Talking about blood getting thin. You have to paint on lipstick. Bitch, you don't even have lips and you paint. What are you doing? What's going on? All right, I shouldn't insult her look, obviously. She is a girl boss. She doesn't care about looking like a whore.
What is going on with political...
To be fair, she is one. Now, you probably say, Nux, you shouldn't just be calling women whores. She is literally a woman in politics that is taking money to stretch. Okay?
Extremism right now, and how would you solve it?
Your blood got thin moving down south, didn't it?
All right, let's go.
Hi, I'm Gretchen Whitmer. I'm the governor of Michigan, and this is Financial Audit.
Oh, my God.
This is f***ing crazy.
What?
This is just so weird. The governor of my home state, and we're doing an audit on the home state and talking some more things. This is crazy.
I know. I'm so glad to be with you. I appreciate all the things you do.
Really?
I mean, right now, we'll see how...
No one is driving more centrists to the Republican side than someone like Caleb Hammer, who's not a political channel, but he gets all sorts of leftoids on his show being like, well, actually, I'm $300,000 in debt because I have a degree in gay sex. It's a degree. I can't get a job anywhere. I mean, I got a job in a couple of places, but I kept accusing the manager of sexual assault, and they kept firing me for some reason. So I can't figure it out. Now that I have my PhD in gay sex, I figured that I'd be able to do something, but I'm $450,000 in debt. I'm also illegal in the country. And then you have like your normal American that's watching this and be like, wow, that guy's retarded.
How I feel in 60 minutes.
People on the left call me a fascist. So you saying that as a Democratic governor who's going to be the Democratic nominee for president at some point, definitely not running though.
Anyway.
It's really good to hear that I'm not a fascist anymore.
Listen, you know what? Everyone's got...
You're not a fascist yet. All right. You will be a fascist if you piss her off. In which case she might signal boost her people to kill you. But not right now.
Opinions right now. I'm not going to pay attention to any of that.
No, money's
I'm glad
super
for what you
important.
do.
Well,
I think what you do is important.
Yeah, thank you. I really do appreciate that. And, and when it comes to actually like extremism and divisiveness, I would love to hear your opinion on that, towards the end. But, I'd love to start with kind of Michigan finances in general, just kind of what the state looks like, and then do some Michigan policies and then some national ones, because, at some point, national might be involved in this conversation with you. But we'll see. I want to start, though. So Michigan, 10th most populous state, pretty big economy. It is a major state. It's an important state in the world of politics. It's gone Trump twice. It went anti-Trump once, right?
Yep.
It went Biden. So, it's very important. We were discussing beforehand, you don't like the term Rust Belt because it feels like it's done. But, that's a very important, like, mega region in the United States. The Midwest, it's the most populous megalopolis. So it's very important. And kind of how states are doing there, and how they're running their economies, how their economies are doing, how the state governments are overall working, I think kind of sets a precedent for how many other states around the country do.
Yeah.
So I want to know first, we'll get into some of the numbers, but when you look at the state budget, when you sign a budget into law, when you advocate for certain things, what are some of the primary things you're thinking of when it comes to revenue collection, when it comes to where we're distributing revenue?
All right.
What are key priorities for you? What are we hyper-focused on?
So
it's a pretty good question, I guess. I'm very excited to see what she says. Mostly, because she was super pro-COVID lockdowns. This was one of her big things, to the point that it became a national story. The way she would lock people in up for COVID. In fact, you probably don't remember this, but President Donald Trump in April of 2020 tweeted, "Liberate Michigan," all right? Because she would lock people up for COVID. Right, so every time I hear like the COVID people that destroyed the jobs of thousands, jobs destroyed. All right, whenever I see those people talking about like how they care so much about the economy and like the working class, they're all frauds, all of them, every single one. Anyway, let's see what she says.
when we think about making sure that anyone can come to Michigan and build the life they want, that's really the North Star. That is who we are. You know, people came to Michigan from around the world for a job in the auto industry.
Well, I left
decades ago. I know. Well, it's time for you to come home.
Well, it's a little cold.
But, oh, you got weak, huh?
Wow.
Anyway.
Sorry, continue.
You know, people came from around the world to Michigan.
You're so weak. You don't like the cold. Please come back. Come back to Michigan. Come back to Michigan where I can lock you away. Please do it. Please.
To get into the middle class, you could get a job on the line. You didn't even have to go to any schooling beyond high school, and you could get in the middle class for a second home up north on the lake.
Like, dude, and it's so crazy because I'm just like, all of the COVID shit is popping back into my head because of how terrible she was. Like the fact in 2021, I remember this vividly. Like, she was going viral because after she locked everyone in their homes in COVID, they found photos of her eating in restaurants and violating her own COVID restrictions. Like, there are so many of these stories, it's insane.
I mean, it was a great quality of life. It's why we've got such rich diversity. It's why we've been the center of...
Rich diversity, kill me. Obviously nothing wrong with diversity, but that should not be the talking point, man.
Manufacturing for a long time, and that's a great strength. But we know manufacturing is changing, right? The whole world is changing rapidly. And so we think about making sure that Michigan stays competitive so that we've got the resources to invest in our people, making sure that we've got the skill sets that are necessary for advanced manufacturing jobs of the future, making sure that we're investing
These are like nothing statements. We have to make sure we're investing in jobs and things and jobs.
Places so that there are cool places for people to live, and that we're landing projects. You know, it's a competitive world. We have to outcompete other states. We have to outcompete other countries to get big investment that leads to good paying jobs. And right now, I think we've done a lot of good things in Michigan. It's tenuous with the tariff chaos that we're all navigating.
This week ushers in another new era of Trump tariffs.
World leaders are trying to figure out how to respond to President Trump's attempt to reshape the global economy.
Columbus, Michigan, 4 farmers feeding the state, but this year there's a new stressor.
Tariffs.
These tariffs are...
Bro, these people are fear-mongering with tariffs like crazy. It's absolutely wild, man.
Are starting to take a bite.
China slapped new tariffs on many items.
Toys, furniture, smartphones, just about everything you can think of that comes from another country, you're going to end up paying more for it.
We feel it more hard.
Oh my God, we feel it. Tariffs didn't hit yet, okay? Like, you've got to stop. All right, this is buzzword central. It'll take a year at least until we feel any impact from tariffs. That's 1. 2, it's true that tariffs make things more expensive. However, tariffs will literally increase your pay. This is what no one wants to talk about. There's always 2 sides to every issue. You have to think about it. If you're tariffing things, that means that people are going to want to manufacture stuff in America and pay you more for it. All right? Like, it's insane that we need to deal with this. Also, we don't need 90% of that shit, but that's not even the point. Like, I hope that Caleb destroys her on this, because the tariff argument is so retarded if you know anything about the economy.
More difficult.
And I don't think she's used to actually talking to someone who understands finances. I hope that he actually pushes back.
In Michigan because of agriculture and advanced manufacturing specific.
Please ask her about Dearborn, Michigan. Ask her why they have a massive city in Michigan that's literally run by Sharia law where they're kicking Christians out now. Please ask her.
Specifically, autos were more sensitive to the tariff nonsense. And so I think that's a major concern on my mind right now.
Tariff nonsense. Bro, you know that Toyota is literally opening up a plant in Michigan specifically because of tariffs. They are going to be giving people in Michigan thousands of jobs in Toyota plants because they don't want to import the cars to fight the tariffs. There's 2 sides here, and no one ever talks about this properly, and it's absolutely disgusting.
I do have a question about the tariff. I mean, we can, well, actually, I'll jump into that. That kind of goes into the Michigan politics, side of things. When it came to NAFTA, it projected we lost manufacturing jobs in Michigan of about 44,000 by 2010, 112,000 by 2018, with even expanding into more Chinese trade. And Michigan lost, potentially upwards of 231,000 jobs since NAFTA was enacted. Manufacturing jobs losing about 21.3%. Now, Trump's trade wars or deals that he's trying to do, they tend to be more nationalistic. They tend to be more protective. If Michigan specifically has lost 21%, I do tend to like a good mixture of globalism and then some, patriotism, nationalistic. I think there's a good hybrid to be done. But in general, the political left does tend to be more globalistic right now, stereotypically, right?
100%.
And the right tends to be more nationalistic.
Yeah,
wouldn't you, of the Rust Belt, state of Michigan that lost 21% in those sectors, be more in favor of something that's a bit more protectionist?
Right, that you just took a fat dump all over her face. He actually kind of cooked her there. Like, one thing tariffs will absolutely do is increase jobs in America, and that's not even debated. That's like confirmed by every economist ever. Tariffs will increase jobs in America.
Yes and no. You got to be really smart, right? You got to use tariffs like a scalpel, not a sledgehammer.
Literal nothing statement. What a nothing statement. Insane. Oh my God.
It's not the answer to everything.
That's a political talking point. I've never heard one of those in person. That's wild. That's wild.
But it's true. I mean, you got to be really thoughtful about it. Tariffs have their place, for sure. Yeah. We've always had, some sort of a tariff.
I love how a minute ago, she called it tariff shenanigans. And then he's like, no, actually, tariffs would really benefit the job market in Michigan specifically, where we lost tons of jobs. And she's like, oh, tariffs need to be used like a Jedi that knows how to use the Force and also has a lightsaber, as opposed to a Jedi that doesn't know how to use the Force, but has 2 lightsabers. You know what I'm talking about. Literally, no one knows what you're talking about, lady.
Scheme, because we can outcompete anyone on a level playing field. But there are a lot of countries that aren't playing.
What?
On a level. Yes, we can.
On
absolutely.
Level for price?
Yes.
Our price of labor is substantially more expensive in the United States.
When you look at quality.
Of course it is. The reason why these bitches are all retarded is because they really think people are all actually retarded. Okay? Are you ready? The scalpel, we tariff Canada. The sledgehammer, we also tariff Canada. True. No, but let me explain. All right, can I explain something to you? All right, this is gonna ruin your entire day. China opened car manufacturing plants in Mexico, where they would literally pay Mexicans in Mexico to build cars for half the price that it would cost China if they were to open it up in America. Do you know why they would target Mexico? Because the #1 consumer economy on the planet is America. So they would build car factories and auto factories specifically in Mexico so that they could build cars for cheap and just drive them over the border and sell them in America for double the price to the largest consumer economy. Now that Trump is blasting import tariffs everywhere, now it's literally cheaper for China to spend the American rate and build auto plants in America. The reason why they're going to be doing that in America now is because they don't want to pay the tariff rate of imports. And B, guess who gets the jobs at the higher pay rate? It's the Americans that get the jobs, and it's the Americans that are getting paid higher than the Mexican labor that they were able to get there. That's the point of tariffs. That's what it does. Will it make cars more expensive? Yes. Will it make the average salary in America as well as the job market go up? Also, yes. And that is what we're talking about.
When you look at efficiency, yes, we can. But we got to have a level playing field. And because
I love how he's licking his lips because this is such a nothing.
So many decisions that have been made over many decades. We know that our North American auto industry relies on parts that are going back and forth over the Ambassador Bridge in Detroit to Windsor, Canada, 7-8 times a day for parts. I mean, this trade is really important. We've built it in.
I've noticed something. Honestly, I've noticed something even worse than any of the bullshit talking points she's saying. This has to be brought to everyone's attention, right? This is super important. Are you going to vote for someone that drinks Dasani water? Are you going to vote for someone drinking Dasani? Holy shit. You want to listen to her opinion? I don't think she should have the right to vote. Anyway, moving on.
Trump negotiated the USMCA, or whatever you want to call it, depending which country you're in. They all call it something different because they want their own country to start first. I totally, wholeheartedly want us to onshore and bring as much manufacturing to the shores of the United States. By the same token, I'm very sober about who our allies.
I want to bring all forms of manufacturing to the United States. How are you going to do that? Why? Think about this for just a second. Right? It's literally this simple. I'm going to explain it to you like I would explain it to a toddler, all right? Because I'm sure that she doesn't expect anyone that she doesn't expect to talk to anyone that'll ever give pushback on this. All right? Are you ready? Are you ready? Why would anyone, China, open up manufacturing plants in America if they could open it in Mexico for half the price and just drive it over the border? Why would anyone, why would any country open up manufacturing in America to pay the American rate when they could pay Mexicans half the price? Why would they do it? Tariffs. Tariffs is the only reason why they would do it. Otherwise, they would never do it because it's just cheaper elsewhere. Now, if you have to pay import tariffs, well, that's not worthwhile. Now they have to start opening up manufacturing plants in America. So she's complaining to Trump. Oh, I can't believe Trump wants to put tariffs in places. It's odious and cringe. Anyway, we need to level the playing field by putting tariffs on places.
And who's really been a part of our growth and what we've required manufacturing to rely on. You can't set up a plant overnight. It takes years. These companies make decades and investments, decades on the front end. And so manufacturing is just different than almost any other type of commerce that we have. And that's why
she's literally word salading. She's not answering anything.
It needs to be used as a scalpel, not a sledgehammer.
So what is the criticism? Literally, what even is the criticism? Trump is using it kind of like a torpedo. I want to use it more like a semi-auto machine gun. All right? I feel like it's important to note the difference here. They're like, we're drawing a very obvious line in the sand. All right? I feel like it's important. Trump is using it like a condom. I want to use it like a morning after pill. That's the difference between us. All right? Otherwise, it's the same, but that's the difference. The way he does it, fascism. The way I do it, pro-America. That's right. What are we talking about?
That certainly makes sense from the perspective of, whatever political party we're leaning from and everything like that. I will say, I just want to start out of the gate from my audience, even though people on the far left call me fascist and stuff. We were even talking about this before. I took, out of just pure curiosity, when people were putting me in political camps, political tests a week ago, and I'm aggressively, boringly, but obnoxiously centrist. That fence is going right through my mouth.
The reality is most people are around the center. It really is true. And it's this left-right divide is really cooking a lot of people. But the major difference is, and this is going to sound controversial, the left has the satanic policies and the right doesn't. That's the slight difference. All right, so you have this divide down the middle. I think most people are center. The only slight difference is the left wants to murder your babies and castrate your children, and the right doesn't, which, in my opinion, puts a slight moral twist on everything.
It is brutal. I apologize, Governor.
It's a visual. Thank you.
It is, but I'm an obnoxious fence sitter. One of the more not controversial things, but because you talked about it, a plant doesn't get set up overnight, right?
Yep. You've done a lot of research. You got a lot there.
This is exciting.
Oh my God, you have research. I really hate this. I'm used to getting CNN to script my questions.
A part of the spending that kind of comes out of the state could be more incentive type spending, but we're talking the Blue Oval Battery Park. That incentive package was cut from $1.03 billion to $409 million. And if we're thinking about plants being set up overnight, this is one of the more controversial things that was done from the state government perspective.
Oh, she's not happy.
That was projected jobs from 2,500 down to 7.
She's like, but you're a YouTuber. You shouldn't know these things.
1,500. And then the state pulled a separate $100 million grant tied to lighting reductions there. And then there was the Make It in Michigan, $1 billion on 5 EV battery-related projects pledged there. Where we're choosing to put the money that obviously other people are making and whatnot.
And whatnot, all right? I love that he's throwing this in because it's so important to recognize the fact that we are working, we are paying taxes. They are using our tax dollars for shit we don't want, all right? The government is inherently a scam, all right? Every time I am driving and I hit a speed bump, all right, and I get a flat tire or some shit, every time that happens, I'm like, I really wish that my tax dollars went to specifically, and not to funding transsexual surgeries of Ugandan children, all right? I'm really glad we're on the same page here.
And then we're kind of reducing some of the incentive packages we're doing to certain plans. And like you said, it's not an overnight thing when they get in there. What is your thoughts on that in terms of where we're putting the money to help businesses actually relocate to other states,
question.
especially when we're kind of slashing and then saying, no, it's going to go into 5 EV battery plants. I'd love to hear your perspective.
I think when you talk about autos, there's no question that the technology is changing and evolving, and we're getting smarter, we're getting cleaner. That's a good thing, right? And under the Biden administration, they had a lot of incentives, and we saw a huge amount of investment that was being contemplated or begun.
She's gonna turn this into like an environmentalist bullshit. Oh my god, dude. The question was about the economy and jobs, bro.
In this country during the Biden administration. Now with the Trump administration, a lot of things are getting pulled back, and business is nervous, right? As well as I know, when there is an uncertain, strategy, when the rules keep changing. What happens in uncertainty? It's paralysis, right? You stop spending, you pull back, you wait to see, is the dust going to settle, and we're going to make these billions of dollars of investments. And so one of the things we know, though, as more electric vehicles come online, as we build up the grid and support people being able to...
literally supporting like the firebombing of Teslas when Elon Musk was a special government agent. Like, I can't take these people seriously at all. Even Bill Gates... Right, chief environmentalist extraordinaire Bill Gates this week said that the environmentalist thing is a scam. Like, what are we doing, man? Your solution to failed investments is just to sink more money into it because hopefully the future is going to be bright.
With an electric vehicle, where the batteries are built is going to be the center of gravity. Because they're going to be the heaviest component in the car. And so battery plants are really important to Michigan as we think about the long-term dominance in mobility. We are currently the home of R&D for almost every auto company on the planet.
Michigan loves them cars.
Yeah, but we've got to also be able to be the place where they can build batteries. They got the expertise and the...
Noticing something. Speaking of the environment, there's something that I'm noticing. Are you noticing? Like speaking of the environment specifically, I'm noticing something.
The concentration of assets in Michigan. And that's why, really getting aggressive around that space has been important for us.
Which, I can certainly vibe with, but, as like the CEO of the state, right? And we're thinking about what CEOs are doing right now. 87% of CEOs in Michigan expect a weaker overall state economy looking over the next decade.
That sucks to hear. Your rebuttal, ma'am?
Yeah, there's no question that when you look at right now what's happening.
What's your blame, Trump?
There are a lot of very, troubling signs about what's happening in the economy. And I think a lot of it stems from the unpredictability of the tariff network and policies right now coming out of D.C.
Why are you investing billions of dollars into these 5 fucking EV factories? Well, you see, tariffs are really making it harder for CEOs to...
It's challenging, and I have been advocating with the president, with his cabinet, with folks in Washington D.C. I go no matter who's in office because my job is
your face.
deliver. Well, I wasn't there for that particular press conference, but
yeah,
that was very funny. That was very funny, wasn't it? Come on, that was great.
I can laugh at it now.
Yes.
But my job is I'm the governor of Michigan. I got to show up and fight for the people of Michigan and the Michigan economy, and that's really what I'm doing when I'm trying to.
You locked everyone up for COVID, man. I can never forget. I can never forget the way that Trump literally made that tweet, liberate Michigan. That's how bad it was. Dude, I really hope he asks her about Dearborn, man. So there's this one place called Dearborn. There is a suspicious amount of terrorist attacks that are coming from Dearborn, Michigan that were just awarded by the FBI. Do you have anything you want to tell us about what's going on in Dearborn specifically? Now, I'm not trying to ramp up any Islamophobia. I'm sure that would really traumatize Zohran Mamdani's aunt. But I specifically am a little bit curious into the whole expelling Christians from the city for the sake of diversity.
Set the table when I'm trying to make sure that our people have skills and that you understand, how to have personal finance, passing a law so that we are arming our people with information so they can make good choices and build the lives that they want. All of these things.
The economy will do so much better when Trump leaves, inshallah, as they say in Dearborn.
Things are related.
And I am very excited to talk about that one because that is something I've advocated for these past 3 years. But I do want to talk about, again, the state of Michigan first. Sorry, I get distracted into rabbit holes way too easily. So, outstanding debt for the state of Michigan.
Oh, boy.
$6.925 billion by the end of last year. Now, we're looking at 2024's financials because I believe 2024 to 2025 financials for the state of Michigan just closed out this month or last month, if I'm not mistaken. However, good news. That debt went down $300 million or 4.2% year over year.
Look at that.
Geo-bonded debt, $691.2 million. But then, the vast majority of that 6.9 is revenue dedicated from transportation and state building authority. And then the government itself does have lease commitments of $729.4 million in general. Then there is MDOT capital commitments, year-end $3.3 billion. How do you feel about the debt of the state of Michigan? I mean, 4.2% paid off year over year. If you were a guest on the show, I wouldn't be screaming too much at that. That's pretty okay. That's pretty chill. That's progress.
Did you see how nervous she looked? Yeah, she was so nervous a second ago.
Show.
And she's like, oh no, if I'm a guest, oh no.
I wouldn't be screaming too much at that. That's pretty okay.
Sigh of relief. Oh my God.
That's pretty chill. That's progress.
We've paid off a lot of debt, and I'm proud of that. I think that that's really important. One of the things that states can't do, like the federal government does, is run deficits, right? Borrow money. Like we can't do that. We've got to have a balanced budget. I have had a balanced bipartisan budget every year that I've been governor. I've been to Wall Street to meet with rating agencies.
Someone in my chat just said she tried to frame innocent Americans, tricking them into a kidnapping plot. And the only reason why she doesn't talk about it is because it was exposed that they were feds. I'm sorry, is that real? I have to look this up. Wait, hold up. Oh my God, it's real. Oh my God. Do you remember the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping plot? What the hell? Allow me to refresh your memory. The plot supposedly 13 men attempted to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer for her draconian COVID restrictions. It was later found out that the FBI actually helped entrap many of the individuals, encouraging them to do the crime and helping with the planning. 5 out of the 9 have been acquitted, and the others are appealing alongside Trump considering giving them a pardon. What's my point? The point is, whether this man is the shooter or not, does not mean he wasn't helped by destructive parties, be that FBI, Mossad, whatever. Oh my God. So you're telling me that the FBI orchestrated a fake kidnapping plot to allegedly kidnap her to push COVID policy. Oh my God. That's insanity. That's insanity, man.
Secured an upgrade in our bond rating. These
AAA, right?
These are AA, I think, right now. But that was an upgrade from where we were, and so I think it's important to have our fiscal house in order. It impacts everything that we're trying to do. So we take that very seriously. It's not sexy to most, but I'm glad that you find it exciting.
No, I'm gooning over here. Let's go. Do you know what gooning is?
You know what? I actually.
Finally, an important question. Do you know what gooning is, Governor of Michigan?
Was just hearing about gooning.
Really?
Bro, what is happening?
From who?
Where?
The lieutenant governor?
Whoa.
I don't know. Is that a controversial thing?
Where was it? I don't know. I had something on television.
She's fucking the lieutenant governor, isn't she?
They're talking about gooning on TV.
You were talking to a guy.
This is
you were
Goon
talking
Central.
to a guy who was spending his money on spicy media.
But you withdrew. What is this adding up to? About $700? Would you say $700 in cash?
That's a lot. I can't think of anything.
Not strippers.
No,
he doesn't do that.
No, I just stay at home all day, really.
He really doesn't go anywhere.
It's expensive gooning. It's just smoking gooning. Now, if I saw that in the government's book, some only purchases, I'd be a little concerned. They're not there, are they?
Is that what you were talking about when you were saying he was gooning, right?
Probably. Yeah, he probably had that OF.
So educate your listeners who are not as cool as you. Gooning.
Endless permanent never finishes.
I appreciate
you. And press secretary, I apologize. I keep seeing her there. I'm judging on her facial reactions.
About it. Yes, it was your show.
Bro, what is happening right now? This is crazy.
Thank you for educating me, Caleb.
One thing that is a slight concern, though.
This is like Aiden Ross interviewing Donald Trump before the election, and he's just asking him like stupid questions.
There is the if we look at the
to be fair, she asked
overall the net position.
Yeah.
Of the state of Michigan, it is still negative $1.3 billion. Now that's like assets owned and then commitments that is required spending. So yes, we're running a surplus, or at least we're breaking even. But
I am relatable to the young Americans. I goon. We are so cooked.
Overall, in general, we are still in a negative net position. So negative net worth, essentially, if we're translating from someone's household to the government of Michigan. How do we feel about that? Let's talk about student loans. I know it's something we all build.
Let's not.
For bearing the
Well, it's I don't love it. I don't love the fact that we've built a budget based on some expectations from the federal government that right now with the shutdown, we don't know what is going to happen and what's not going to happen. We've got a lot of folks who get food benefits from the feds that the money's not coming in. So, I mean, this is, I think, a really lousy position to be in. What we can control, we try to make sure that we get our budgets done on time and that they're balanced, but there are a lot of things that we can't control. And so we've got to have enough flexibility to make decisions along the way in our budgets.
And when it comes to spending, Health and Human Services is $35.57 billion, or 44% of the spending in the state of Michigan. If we're talking food stamps, let's just say, or food assistance,
All right, let's
I used
go.
to be.
Bring in the food stamps. Destroy.
I still am. I want people to have assistance who need assistance, especially those that fall back. It's a safety net, right?
Yep.
Safety.
All right,
I have so many people on this show now, and I know we get the worst of the worst. It is.
No, you don't. You do not get the worst of the worst. You get bad people, sure, but people that are still willing to come onto your show.
Not you, I'm sorry. Like, your personal finances are probably okay?
Yeah, they're in pretty good shape.
Nice.
Are you kidding me? She probably does insider trading. Are you kidding me? Like, are we out of our minds? Like, AOC was a bartender, and now she's worth $30 million.
Okay, so, but I've had so many people on the show where they are specifically choosing to not go work more hours because then they'll be taking off benefits. And I'm wondering, even though I want to support people who fall on hard times, obviously, because they're human beings.
Yeah.
Have we set up our systems in a way, let's say the state of Michigan, where we're also just discouraging people from going out there and being contributors?
Yeah. Well, that is an obscene and I think rare example of where the system is not perfect, right?
Yeah.
That we want to incentivize work. We want people to be gainfully employed and not reliant on state funding. But we recognize that there are a lot of people who right now are struggling to just take care of their daily needs, their family's needs. So that's why this is important. I understand that you've had people suggest that you could move to Michigan and get some benefits that you can get elsewhere. That's just not true. And I wanted to go out of my...
That's not, no one's saying that. That's not the point. The point is that there are way too many, and she's avoiding the question skillfully here. The point is that these people are literally scamming the system. Anyone that could vote but chooses not to vote to be under specific thresholds in order to get benefits does not deserve benefits. Benefits aren't for people to calculate and come up with the best way for them to do the least work in order to maximize the most amount of shit they could take from people that actually do work for a living. That's not what benefits should be about at all. Benefits should be for people that have no alternative. All right, either they're disabled or whatever. But it's a broken system, and we need to fix it.
Way to address that. Okay.
Wow.
Because we're all playing by the same federal rules, and so every state should be the same on those fronts. We have different interpretations, different applications. Some of us make it easier to apply, et cetera. But I think that that's something worth highlighting.
Now, my big concern when I look through the finances of the state of Michigan is the funding ratio for the pension.
Michigan's next budget is on Governor Gretchen Whitmer's desk.
And the primary focus of...
I can't believe he let her go on that, man. I feel like that's such a major topic right now. I can't believe he let her go. What a fraud. She immediately, yes! She jumps in. Nah, dude. Not Caleb. He's not a fraud. Obviously, he's interviewing a governor. She's not going to ever answer. But nah, dude. That's crazy. That's crazy. Unbelievable gaslighting. There are illegals literally on Snap. There are people that don't deserve it. That was the craziest sidestep I've ever seen.
The budget, as it always is public education.
The move in the lame duck session is aimed at bringing greater financial stability to troubled districts.
This is much less than the last fiscal year.
We're talking about an unfunded liability of about $27 billion, but a good chunk of that doesn't make it to the classroom.
The state ranks 44th in the nation when it comes to starting pay.
The average starting salary for Michigan teachers was $41,645. That's around $4,800 less than the national average.
There's not a lot of economic incentive to pursue a career in teaching.
The budgeting could result in layoffs in the upcoming year.
We're talking 74.83% is adequately funded for what is needed to fund for the entire state pension.
All right.
I would love to hear your perspective on this. Now, I will give a W. That's gone up from 66.3% last year to 74% this year, but that is still very far away from mandatory that needs to be handed out. And honestly, the gain has only been caught up through market recovery.
Yeah. Well, we've got a state treasurer.
Which is kind of a nothing, because market recovery has nothing to do with Michigan.
Rachel Eubanks, who I think does a fantastic job. We've made a lot of headway on whether it's paying down debt or increasing our our rating, but there still is more work to do. There's no question. I mean, pensions have been an important tool in getting people.
Nothing answer. Oh my God, there's work to be done is the most nothing thing I've ever heard.
To go into public service.
Yes.
And we saw with the Detroit bankruptcy about 10 years ago that all the pensioners ended up not getting fully what they expected to when they worked for the city of Detroit for as many years as they did. So these pension systems can be unwieldy, but we have a duty to fund them.
Sure. I mean, the pension system.
The pension system is a scam. People are scamming the system. People are stealing money from people that are paying taxes. What do? Oh, we need to give money to pension systems. Pension is important. Bitch, that was not remotely the question. Like this, arguing with women be like, the average woman is 5'8". The average woman is 5'3". And then the woman says, that's not true. I'm 5'8". It's like, what are we doing? That's not at all. That's not at all what we were talking about, man.
Being $24.4 billion underwater is 5 times the annual K-12 school aid fund contribution. So it's going to take a long time to close the gap. And then also with a retiree to active ratio of 1 to 3, it's a little scary. What would you do to fix it?
What do I'm curious.
Yeah, I love how he's saying that. What would you do to fix it? All right, please. What would you do to fix it? Don't say it's important. Don't give me nebulous bullshit. All right, let's go.
I know you've done a ton of research here. How do we stack up? What are you seeing things that other states are doing that we should be,
How do you fix the problem? Are other states I've noticed other states are also cringe. You can't criticize me for cheating on my husband when there are lots of whores. There's lots of whores out there. You cannot criticize me. There are whores everywhere.
We should learn from?
I'll be honest. I was just pulling data from the state of Michigan and hyper-focusing on state of Michigan.
Good. Do not let her get away.
Yeah.
Because even when it comes to a lot of the guests on the show, I try not to sit there and endlessly compare them to other people.
Right.
I take a look at their situation. And I'm like, okay, here's things that aren't good. What can we do to fix it? Now, fixing a pension, that is not my expertise. But I would absolutely love to hear, kind of what you would do. If you had the dictatorial stamp.
Right.
In the
He's asking the same question again. Don't let her do not let her escape.
State of Michigan, how would you fix this pension underfunding ratio?
Well, at the end of the day, right, I don't get to have a dictatorial ability to.
We're actually not a dictatorship. We're actually a democracy.
To fix every problem that I see.
He's asking, what would you do? All right, come on, lady. Bro, she knows nothing about finances. Why the fuck did she come on the show? She actually looks like a complete retard here.
And I think that's not how it should be, frankly. I got to work with the legislature to have policies that make sense that everyone can live with. And right now we've got a Republican House and a Democratic-controlled Senate.
But this is literally girl math in charge of the economy of a nation, of a state.
I think that we did a lot of good things in this last budget that we got.
I think good things
Done, whether it is cutting taxes on overtime and tips, like the House.
That was literally the Republicans. What are we doing, guys? What are we doing? That was literally the big, beautiful bill. That was Trump. That was the orange man.
Republican leadership wanted to do it. It's similar to what President Trump has done on the national level, or it is investing in kids and newborn health. That was a Senate priority. We got a lot of good stuff done, but
good stuff.
Still, there's always going to be additional work to do to shore up as we think.
All right, so she said it's sort of like what Trump did on the national level. All right, that's the big, beautiful bill. All right, I hope you're ready for this because this is about to be diabolical. Are you ready? So this was about Gretchen. This is Gretchen Whitmer. All right, let's see. Anyway, was she for it? Rather. Ooh, awkward. Ooh.
Long term, especially as we've got so many public servants who are aging and are going to be relying on this. So how can I fix it overnight? I can't fix it overnight.
Not overnight.
I recognize that it's an important part of a long-term solution.
This is such a nothing answer, man.
We gotta continue to strive toward.
Well, what
would you do to fix it? We gotta strive. Oh, but what would you do? I'm not a dictator. But what would you do? Can you compare me to other states? But what would you do? See, I actually have people that I work with. But what would you do about the pension? Well, you see, I actually support no tax on tips, which was a Republican policy, which I didn't vote for. This is insane.
What is the
like, is this what it's like for like a normal person to talk to a politician instead of having like some retard that works at CNN just gas them up the entire time?
To put in for the long-term solution though to fix the pension? Want to know?
He's like, what's the plan? Oh my God! Please keep cooking.
First, as you said, we were in a stronger position than we were, and a lot of that's been driven by the market.
Yes.
So we'll take it, right?
By the market means Trump. They're in a stronger position because Trump. Driven by the market means Trump. She did nothing. For the record, that has nothing to do with her. The market is completely not affected by her whatsoever. She has zero impacts. Anyway, keep going.
But how do we ensure that we're putting more resources in? We've got our MIPSers, which is our school employees.
But she's licking her lips. She's out there. It's like,
resources in. We've got our MIPSers, which is our
She's feeling real awkward right now.
School employees retirement.
Just say there's no plan. Just say there's no plan. It's that easy.
Then we've got our MIPSers, which is our...
Yes. The thumbnail. It reveals itself.
Our school employees retirement. That is going to be coming offline in a few years because we're getting up to full funding there. And so that is one additional mechanism that we'll have to put toward additional retirement dollars.
So my concern when it comes to, I know that's not a retirement plan for everyone in Michigan. It's,
Right.
the employees for the state. But when it comes to, especially on the federal level, entitlement programs that are put in, I'm a big fan, a lot of the concept of a lot of them. But one thing that we at least find within the last 100 years, if a big entitlement is put in, it's impossible to get rid of. And my fear with, like a pension plan like this, right, is it's so attached, people are going to be very patriotic about it who are, state employees. But if it is not a sustainable system, it's going to be borderline impossible to tweak in a significant enough way to change it or even get rid of. Kind of like Social Security, it's not going to work for my generation. I'm going to get a substantially less amount of money.
Yep.
And that sucks. And it's going to be much more on the level of a literal Ponzi. It's not right now. Because right now, money coming in, it's not fully dependent on money coming in. By the time I retire, it's going to be fully dependent on money coming in. So that's what makes me nervous about like the pension system.
Well, I think to be clear, no, people aren't getting pensions now, right? Like this is not a long-term issue that we're seeing continuous.
She does not want to talk about pensions, man. She does not want to talk about pensions. He keeps bringing it up. She keeps sidestepping. She just doesn't want to talk about pensions, dude.
Continued in terms of policy. Previous governors and legislators got into the pension system. I'm not.
Yeah.
And I've been doing this for 25 years. So
well, you're going to be president, so we don't have to worry about it.
Well, we're phasing out is what I'm saying. So as you think about like how is this sustainable for the long run, it's not going to be as big an issue for us in the long run because it's not available to people.
That's good. Now, spending, 44% goes to health and human services, as we said, 31% to education, transportation, 6.8%. And I know that was a big thing for you. I remember fix the damn roads when I still lived there.
Yes, sir.
4.3% to the general government, public and safety corrections, 3.81%. I assume most of public safety is locally funded. Revenue sharing, 1.67 billion. Tax credits, 1.46. And I do have a little bit, to talk about that as we continue to go through this. And then just some smaller ones in general. And then, when it comes, and I would love to actually learn more about this. When it comes to the revenue, and we got operational grants is $33 billion, general taxes $21 billion, education $16 billion, and transportation $3.7 billion. Go into operating grants. I love to kind of learn a little bit more about that personally. As I was sitting there thinking about how revenue is collected.
She has no idea. She has no idea. Oh my God, she's so out of her depth. This is so sad.
The state.
Operating grants.
It's like everyone expects people to be able to talk about this because Trump is able to talk about economy so easily because he's always been a businessman. So Trump literally sounds like a rock star at the age of 80. All right, when you get these people on that are supposedly they know nothing.
Grants where? Do you have a specific department
overall,
question? Or?
Well, as we're just pulling in like where the money is coming into the state. A big chunk operational grants. Maybe through everything I was pulling from the state's websites, it just wasn't specific enough. But I was like, what is this? I'm so curious. Maybe she could answer it for me.
Yeah, I'm going to. I don't want to guess off the top of my head and be wrong. But
fair enough.
In other words, she has no idea.
Government activity revenues.
Yeah, Michigan's cooked.
Totally good.
It could be a variety of things, and it's probably a lot.
It's OnlyFans. It's gooning. It's gooning and OnlyFans.
Of a variety of things.
And we already talked about the net position, but when it comes to the school aid fund, that is a balance, but it is restricted for education of $4.45 billion. What's interesting about this, and I'd love to hear your perspective, is there's controversial things.
Bro, every time he brings up another
$5
thing,
billion.
look at this. This is insane.
What's interesting about this, and I'd love to hear your perspective.
You ready?
Is
She's terrified. She's terrified. Every time he brings up a new number, She can't stop.
There's controversial things that are funding a big part of it. They got weed, which is interesting. I was much more in favor of legal.
Bro, you know the difference between Michigan and New York? You see, the women in Michigan get stoned. But after Zohran Mamdani, the women in New York get stoned. Do you get the joke?
Many years ago, but so many studies have been coming out these last few years about just kind of overall effects on people. Less it's not like shaky dependency, but many things you do when you smoke every day are no longer as enjoyable when you stop smoking. And just some overall health effects. I mean, if you're putting things in your lungs in general, it's usually not great for you.
The state released its annual marijuana tax revenue totals yesterday.
$270 million.
Mainly because of the marijuana dollars, we've got about $1 million of work planned just in road improvements.
Outside the state capitol, supporters of the cannabis industry gathered to fight a proposed 24% tax on marijuana.
A 24% wholesale tax on marijuana is set to begin in January.
More taxes, baby. Tax the stoners. Everyone gets taxed.
Part of a long-term plan to
we need to give our money to people that invaded our country illegally ASAP.
Fund road construction in the state budget.
Over the last few years, the city's been...
Look at that road. That road is dog shit.
Able to take a much more aggressive approach in repairing them, filling in the potholes thanks to pot taxes.
The $42 million in revenue comes from recreational sales and
you see what he did there?
Being split among communities.
You know what Tucker Carlson would say? That's what Tucker Carlson would say. All right, to quote the guy.
That allow these sales thanks to Michigan's Taxation of Marijuana Act.
So there is that. That brings in $33.1 million. Then there's sports betting and iGame. Combined gross receipts, $2.86 to $2.9 billion. But the state taxes and fees is $466. There's a lot of dependency issues, especially on gambling and things like that. How do you feel that so much of school is being funded through blazing it up and go?
Schools are being funded with weed and gambling. Welcome to Democrat hell. That's right. Morals are questionable and ethics are not required.
And blowing all that money.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I don't love that we see, a lot of...
There's a lot of eyes. Have you noticed? I feel like, I don't know.
Gaming funding our schools, et cetera. But at the end of the day...
Gaming funding our schools. He asked about specifically weed and gambling, not gaming.
People are engaging in the conduct, and every state taxes it and, operates budgets based on whatever.
Every state. I love that this is like always the answer. It's like, have you compared me to other people?
Taxes they collect. Our sales taxes also help fund our schools. Our sales taxes are lower than they are here in Texas. So
yes, but we don't have income.
To make up what the difference is, right? Like there are legislatures and governors past have selected different things to include in the school aid fund. It's not like I came into office and said, all right, this is how we're going to start doing it. But you got to
no, she actually just ripped off smarter people. We know.
Recognize that sin taxes are always easiest taxes for legislators to take votes on. And that's generally why we see them continuing to fund things like schools and everything else in state government.
Well, people would say and advocate for it that it hurts the lower income the most.
That's not wrong.
Yeah.
And yet, I think that's one piece of the education budget. But by and large,
it's about a fourth.
It's 2 cents out of our 6 cent sales tax goes to our schools too.
Yeah. Okay. And then as we continue there, the school stabilization fund is $1.3 billion. So, I mean, the overall school funding tends to look relatively healthy, but there is a lot of kind of restricted spending. So 1.3 is stabilization and countercyclical of $477 million, but 4.46 is restricted into education, which I think is good. At least we're not going in and tapping it, right?
Right. Well, we just created that in the last 2 years, that stabilization fund, because I know it's important that you've got like a savings fund in case some unforeseen thing happens. And who God only knows, right? Like the last 7 years, if they've taught me anything, is that there could be some new thing around the bend that you're not anticipating. So we've got a rainy day fund or budget stabilization fund for the rest of the budget.
Learned from the last 7 years that you can't see the future.
Budget. I wanted to create one for schools because I think it's really important that we've got additional resources.
Dude, we need to get politicians out of office. Like, we need to do it. Like, we can't have these people governors for like 40 years. That's not right, man. Like, we got to get rid of these people. Like, they become fixtures. They literally become fixtures in the government. That's insane.
So,
and that's what's next.
Yeah.
This is a good chart.
What's that?
This is a good chart. The rainy day fund.
Yeah. See?
It's only going up. COVID took a little bit. Okay, fair enough.
It was hard.
It was draconian.
I was a little, I'll be honest.
Destroy her. Destroy her.
I was a little annoyed when I came home for Christmas 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Like, we had to eat outside, but we were in inside pods outside. It was a little weird that I came back here and then I could just do whatever.
Well,
that was a bit weird, I'll be honest.
Well, but remember what the temperature was. Here, you can walk around outside all day, right? At home,
but if I could
in Michigan, in the winter, we're all inside and breathing.
She's blaming the fact that she locked people up on the weather. Bitch, they could wear coats. You are absolutely kidding me. This is the shittiest excuse of all time. All right, I went to Montreal during COVID. Montreal is way colder than Michigan, and I went outside and I liked it, okay? I remember, I vividly remember this. I flew into Montreal to visit my parents, and it was winter and it was cold as balls, and I had to be quarantined for 2 weeks. 2 weeks of quarantine playing Among Us on stream in my parents' basement because I literally was not allowed to leave the house because Canada is a fascist, dictatorial regime of communists and gay people. All right? I'm not joking. That shit was hell.
And on each other.
But if I was allowed to be inside, outside, why couldn't I just be inside?
Because you were inside, outside with just your small group of people.
And the servers and bussers.
Listen, Caleb, none of us wants to go back and relive that.
That's
we were
true,
doing the best we
We don't want to talk about the fact that I locked people up and literally stole all their jobs.
could with very little or very bad information.
I'll accept it. I just remember being a little annoyed.
I'm sure.
And it was cold too. Like, what the f are people doing? It's so cold. What are we doing? Like,
your blood got thin moving down south, didn't it?
Well, now I hate the summers, so it's fair. I'd like to get a place up there again on Gull Lake at some point in retirement. I love Gull Lake. I used to think razor burns were just fancy. It's time to upgrade the wall. There was a 20, and the Supreme up to 4.05%, but that was brought back up to 4.25%.
There's no way they dropped personal income tax and then raised it. That has got to be some of the worst strategy I've ever heard.
And the Supreme Court denied an appeal on August 30th of last year. Were you more of a proponent of keeping it at 4.05 or moving it back to that 4.25?
I was a proponent of following the law, which said I had to go back up to 4.25.
Okay, if you were able to pass a law to bring it back down to 4, would you?
If someone could tell me how we're going to fund the things that we need to fund.
Would you?
In other words, no.
Cut back on anything in order to fund that?
I think we've made a lot of hard cuts recently. So before I would agree to take more important resources out of our budget, I'd want to know where people think they're coming from.
Bro, this is their money, all right? If you're taxing people, you absolutely need a very good reason as to why you're taxing them, all right? And if you're funding parks and stuff and not fixing roads, dude, stop.
The hard...
Dude, how much is this lady worth? Because I feel like all these people are like this, man. They're all like this. Gretchen Whitmer. All right, so the salary is $177,000 a year. The governor's salary is $177,000 a year. They estimate that she makes $1 million a year. What does that mean? What does that mean? Oh my God. 2 to 5 million. I don't believe that even a little bit. Anyway.
Of being in this spot is
there's no way Gretchen Whitmer is making $1 million a year with a net worth of $2 million. All right, that's bullshit.
At the end of the day, I got to make sure the book's balanced, right? And so it angers some people on my left, it angers some people on my right when I say, no, I don't want to look at that tax cut unless you got a solution for me. And no, I'm not going to look at the spending unless you tell me where the money's coming from.
I'm curious if this was, me and my obnoxious middle, and this was the this was the right, and this is the left, and let's say Bernie and Mondamia right here. Where are you?
It depends on who you ask, but I think I think I'm closer to the middle.
Well, when I still lived there and you're going through the primary.
Closer to the middle.
There was a dude with I think a fake toupee.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of guy. I think he's in Congress now. But he was the progressive, far left running. And then you were the more center.
He and Abdul El-Sayed. Yes, we're both way on the...
Yeah, Abdul El-Sayed. Probably a straight white male.
But then
it really kind of irritated me at the beginning, to tell you the truth, because I'm proud to be a very, progressive former legislator.
I'm so progressive, and then I met a Muslim and I became Islamophobic. I personally feel so sad for Zohran Mamdani's aunt that this is happening.
The receipts, right? I'd been in the legislature. I took lots of votes. I had an agenda. And 2 guys who never ran for anything ran and took all these positions and tried to make me look like I wasn't really a good Democrat. And you know what? It irritated.
Obviously. Of course. It's the purity spiral. That's exactly what Zohran Mamdani does. That's the plan. That's always the plan. Nah, dude. Every freeze frame gets better.
Me at the beginning, but they actually probably did me a favor because I think more people were open to hearing me out. And that's probably how I won.
But can you beat Gavin Newsom?
In Michigan? Yeah. I could beat anyone in Michigan.
Fair enough. Now, one of the big percentages that money does go to, if we're bringing taxes, legally up from 4.5 to 4.25, there is the working families tax credit. And this is a redistribution type system. And I think a lot of people forget in this country, even compared to many Western countries, our income tax system is actually towards the top of the progressive world. A lot of the funding that comes in those Western European systems, social democracies that we like, are usually value-added taxes. That's what kind of pays the bills, right? And that tends to hurt everyone, where we tend to be more progressive, where the top 1% of this country pays, I believe it's like 30% of all income taxes. The top 50% pays 48% of, or 98% of all income taxes, the top 50% of earners. So we have this where we move the taxes back up, but the state of Michigan, is handing more money out. So there's a single worker with no kids making $15,000, and the federal government might get $600 to $700. There was a match of 6% of Michigan, but now we're getting up to 30%.
So the earned income tax credit, that's what that is. The working families tax credit is what we're calling it now, but it was really the earned income tax credit. And this has been around for decades. A lot of states offer the EITC to draw down federal dollars for people that are working full time but can't make ends meet. Like a lot of people you have on your show, right? You've got people who are working $15 an hour jobs, cannot make it doing that. And so this incentivizes full-time work by giving people some additional tax relief. And it is disproportionately, it's like over 50% supports people who are also raising kids. So it's like got that compounding benefit.
Yeah, a single parent with 2 kids making $25,000 a year would roughly get $6,800. And now, you get that 30% match from Michigan. Now, technically, this is a form of redistribution. It is. Maybe it's with a good heart. Do you think at the end of the day, it is overall beneficial to the economy in terms of the way we're looking for our economic structure to be created and managed?
Well, I think government at the end of the day is really about making sure that every one of us can be safe, right? Like that's the most basic of government's job is to keep people safe, but also to create the conditions where every person can thrive, right? To create an economy that business people can have the workforce that they need. I mean, it's all about what are our priorities and how do we make sure that all boats rise, a rising tide lifts all boats. I mean, I think that's the...
She a communist. They're all communists, man. What's going on? We got to start deporting these people immediately. I don't know. This is crazy.
Philosophy that I've always looked at all of these policies with. And I think that it's important to have debate. I think it's important to...
Debate is important. Anyway, let's tax everyone to infinity.
Understand some of the shortcomings of past policies and look to what others are doing and see, can we make it better? I mean, one of the things that we've done is really invest in our workforce, bringing down the cost of higher education, bringing down the cost of getting into a trade school. There was something called the Tennessee Reconnect. We, borrowed that idea, made it our own, and we've got the Michigan Reconnect, which helps people 25 and up go back to school and earn additional credentials. So, it's...
Great. People that are 25 that squandered their first degree. Notice how she said additional credentials. After people go to school and get degrees in lesbian tap dance theory, then they could go back to school later on discount, where she'll only be another couple $100,000 in debt, where they can get a degree in gay sex. It's very important, actually. I'm really glad that we're looking into all these things.
It's in all of our interest to make sure that those basics are addressed.
Yeah, no, sorry. Funding people that have degrees in queer entomology and underwater chicken tickling, in my opinion, do not actually, should not be a forefront of our train of thought in regards to strap-on gay sex, in my opinion. I just personally don't think it's important.
There's also one of the more controversial things for EV holders like myself. I have a Model X, and I love it, and they hate me for it, and it's great. We have $160 a year for EVs since they're not paying, gases. They're not getting gas tax. Is it fair, especially if you're more on the clean energy side, that they're punished for not having a gas vehicle?
So how are you punished for not having a gas vehicle?
$160 a year for EVs and $60 a year for PHEVs as well, yeah.
Okay, so that's for a registration fee. I mean, you're still using the roads, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's
about tolls?
It's we have
good here in Michigan and Texas.
We're exploring tolls. It's a little more challenging.
We're exploring tolls.
Challenging because we don't have people cutting through Michigan.
Can I just say tolls are a scam? All right, I'm sorry. I'm putting my foot down. Tolls are a scam. Okay, I pay taxes. You should supply me the roads to drive on. Tolls are inherently a scam. All right, they're evil. They're annoying, and also. It's literal highway robbery. That's crazy.
We do.
I pay taxes for roads, only for the taxes to go fund queer liberation in Afghanistan, where I am paying taxes to drive on the roads.
Ohio and Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So it's a little more challenging, but we're studying it. And I think, we're going to explore whether or not, there's a roadway or two or many that might make sense.
Go to Canada, right? Cut through Michigan to go to Canada.
Yeah.
I don't know if tolls are honestly good or not, but I just, that's one of the controversial things that I kind of want to bring up. Controversial. It's not like people are like raising stakes. Yeah. Okay. And then we'll move on
How did you get into this? Can I ask you a question?
This?
Like, yes. Why is
Bro,
this your
she is feeling in the hot seat, trying to change it around.
your passion? Did you have a bad experience, or did you make a bad decision?
I was poor as fucking Michigan.
Okay.
But that was my choice, not Michigan's fault.
Okay.
And I was down, started learning about personal finance a lot. And then after wanting to switch career fields from product management and wanted to work with a YouTuber, someone kind of led me along for a couple months, didn't hire me, so I decided to start my own.
Yeah.
This is the short version.
All right.
Yeah.
What's the worst financial mistake you ever made?
That I ever made? I mean, I maxed out a credit card at 18 immediately on a piano. I wanted to get a piano because I was going to be a music major. I have to get a nice piano, $2,500. Just, there we go. Or McDonald's every day, the junior year of college. Also maxed out another $2,500 card.
At McDonald's?
And that's why we got this. That's why we got this, baby. That's that.
Damn.
So we already talked about, some of the spending and incentives cut back from the
He did not want to talk about that. He went straight bag based.
Ford Marshall Plan. And then there was the Make It in Michigan, where we spent $1 billion on 5 EV plants. As of 2025 of this month, lawmakers killed that multi-billion subsidy program, right?
Well, we're retooling a bit. So I'm working with the legislature to make sure we still have some good economic development tools. But you gotta retool. You gotta be nimble. We're competing against Ohio. We're competing against Japan. You know what I mean? Like, we're competing against the world. So we've got to have the tools we need.
And then pork. Government loves pork. We got $950 million there. So $234 million public infrastructure grants, like $50 million for downtown Pontiac, $20 million to the city of Wyoming, $20 million Detroit, Greektown Corridor, $5 million to Grand Rapids Children Museum, $122 million community enhancement project, like $12 million statewide YMCAs, $5 million Detroit Fisher Building, $5 million Special Olympics.
Bro.
$5 million West.
Bro. No. Stop. No.
$122 million community enhancement project, like $12 million statewide YMCAs, $5 million Detroit Fisher Building, $5 million Special Olympics.
Bro, they did not spend $5 million on the Special Olympics. There's no way. Please.
$5 million West Michigan Chamber. Do they not have their own money? Special Olympics?
I mean, Special Olympics? Are you against Special Olympics?
No, not the biggest fan of taxes sometimes.
I understand.
Especially now that I have to write
You're paying taxes so retards could fucking compete. We're paying taxes so retards could compete.
check instead of it getting automatic.
I get it. But, this is not unique to Michigan. It's not great. And we are making changes to have more transparency in the process.
Yes.
To make sure that people who are promoting whatever.
We have to make sure that there's transparency. So when we steal your money, you know exactly what the money we're stealing is going to.
Project they want to get done, have to do it so many days in advance so that the whole world can scrutinize it so that they can make their case that it's the right thing to do.
And trust me, I qualify for the Special Olympics. I'm $91 million for healthcare projects, $20 million to the Henry Ford Health, $30 million Saginaw Medical Center, $10 million for Detroit firefighter health support, and then dozens of smaller options like $900,000 to a Troy cricket field. There's lots of Indian immigration there. $200,000 to New Buffalo Disc, and $1.6 million Grand Rapids Ballet from the States. Why can't Grand Rapids do that?
It's a good question, Caleb. I'll have to tell you what legislator asked for that, and you can ask them that question.
Always a good question.
I love my home state.
I know. Well, this doesn't make sense when you're looking at it from 40,000 feet. I get it.
But don't we before we?
I understand. But at the same token, I got to get a budget to my desk, and legislators come with their with their special projects, and they negotiate them in. And I introduce a budget. It doesn't have any pork in it. All right.
Yeah.
And I introduced the budget. So these are not things that I ever
I can appreciate
was
that.
advocating for.
Yeah.
But the legislature gets their shot at it, and this is often what you see.
Detroit downtown boxing gym, $2 million. Detroit Zoo, $7 million. We like the zoos. They're great. Zoos are exciting. Frankenmuth Youth Sports Complex, $10 million from the state. Potter Park Zoo in Lansing, $10 million. This is the part of the show where I usually go through the spending, and it's like, we got some bullshit spending in there. We got some taquitos. All right, that's what we call them here. Some bull.
Destroy.
Yeah, you're stopping in the gas station, get yourself some bullshit. Some Special Olympics bull. Now, we love the Special Olympics. We love the Special Olympics.
I don't
just didn't know
endorse
the state
anything
paid
you
for
said
it.
of yes.
Yeah. Well, actually, and why it's kind of controversial is a lot of it is like no bid, negotiated late, and sponsor disclosure or after pack.
Yeah, I know. It's gross. I mean, I think that every dollar should be, if it's used in those ways.
I think. What do you mean you think? What do you mean you think? You're the governor. What do you mean you think?
Should be a bidding process or front end transparency, which is what I think we're going to get done.
There's also
I think there should be transparency. You're the governor. You could literally transparently tweet where the money is going. Okay? You've got to stop, man.
$1 million in, I think, this year for state-managed retirement plan marketplace for businesses under 100 employees. Like, we get, like, I'm a small business under 100 employees. Like, I save money on taxes implementing a retirement plan. Why does the state of Michigan need to come in and use taxpayer money to set up retirement plans for private businesses?
It's a good question. I don't have a great answer for you other than I think the goal there is obviously to help the
money
small
is just disappearing, and she doesn't want to say or doesn't know where it's going.
Business association help their members get health care.
Why did she do this show? Why did she do this show? She's being humiliated.
I mean, there are some things in court, like $2.5 million for the Lansing lug nuts. Who goes to the lug nuts? I don't know what a lug nut is.
It's a lug nut is a part. It's a part in your car, and the lug nuts are the baseball team in Lansing.
You have got to be kidding me, man. We are paying, dude. This is like when it was revealed that we were spending $50,000 on like a little baggie of screws.
Interesting. Lots of e-bike incentives. $1,250 per bike. $1,250 per bike.
Electric bikes, e-bikes, could soon become more affordable under the new state budget. Republicans say the program is another example of wasteful spending. The vouchers could save buyers anywhere from $500 to just over $1,200.
What was the public feedback about what kind of access there should be now for bikes?
I would say it was really split. Some were very much in favor and in support of what the department was proposing. Some were very much against it.
So it's expensive, just people are paying a lot of money in taxes, and it's a small percentage overall, but it all stacks up, right?
Right.
And when we're thinking of like the pork that it goes to, of almost $1 billion, like that starts to hurt. That kind of starts to hurt. So this one,
true. That's right. Cook these frauds. It's a high tax area where you are giving money to fucking pork, bro.
This is a pilot program put into law this year. $2.5 million going to grant program aimed at short-term lenders, payday loans, essentially government-funded payday loans. Now, I know you didn't advocate for this. I'm not saying that.
You're right. I just assumed sign a budget that doesn't have any of those things in it, like the budget that I introduced in February.
In the state of Michigan outlook is actually pretty, in general, pretty good. 3.9% growth income per capita this year, projected going forward about 3.2%. And we do expect slower growth overall, economists are saying, but still growth in Michigan, which is good. You got up to the AA plus. That's exciting credit rating. And Detroit's kind of, getting a nice little rebound. That little core area. We like that. If I would live anywhere, it would be Grand Rapids, personally, if I moved back. But 50% of the year being overcast, just can't do that. There is, potential tariff risks right now. Manufacturing is flat to down, and uncertainty is definitely high. The state is 49th in population growth. That is a long-term risk. Growing
49th, bro. Oh, Lord.
Population is required for a thriving economy.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Michigan is probably one of the worst states in the country. I'm not hating on any of my Michigan homies, but if I was literally doing like a top 50 list and ordering them like from first to last, Michigan would easily be bottom 5. Would easily be bottom 3. Bottom 5. It would be bottom 5 without a shadow of a doubt. I'm not even like trying to be controversial here. It really would.
NCO sentiment is negative, and so those are kind of the concerns of the state of Michigan. Do you have any thoughts on those before we kind of go on into some of the other
Of course I do. I got thoughts on all of it, but I'll keep it succinct.
I have so many thoughts. I, as a successful woman, have so many thoughts about all of these things, and I am going to answer none of it. Instead, I am going to gobbledygook my way through talking about transparency and nebulous stuff getting better.
I think there are a lot of good things happening. I think overwhelmingly, we just saw a new poll come out about kind of.
I mean, there's one new thing that happened in Michigan that's pretty exciting. They recently named a street in Dearborn after a Hezbollah terrorist. That's pretty exciting. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, to be fair, you don't really need to set like alarm clocks anymore because the Islamic call to prayer will wake you at 5 a.m. every morning, whether you like it or not, in Dearborn, Michigan. So realistically, that's progress. To be fair, your population growth is going to start increasing because your average Muslim family is 10 children. So, I mean, realistically, you might not be governor forever because Zohran Mamdani might take over, but the population is going to start increasing. So that's good.
In Detroit, some crazy number, like 78% of people feel like we're on the right track. I don't know how long it's been since you've been to Detroit, but
she just pulled that number right out of her ass. 78% of people think we're on the right track. Yeah, I'm sure.
Try to avoid it.
Well, we hosted the draft last year. It was spectacular. I mean, there's so much good stuff going on in Detroit, Grand Rapids. Yeah. Michigan's a great place. And yes, we've got some challenges, but I feel like we're making real headway, and it's an exciting time to be in Michigan.
For at least half the year.
No, all year round.
Oh, God,
Caleb,
dude.
people are going to need places like Michigan.
I don't know, man. I've been in Detroit. That place was a shithole when I was there.
20% of the world's fresh surface water.
That is
true.
true.
We don't have nearly the climate stuff that you guys have down here, for instance.
Yeah, we got them droughts
Or on
and
the-
flood.
Or on the East Coast, I mean, when we have a ice storm, we got the equipment to take care of it.
That is true.
Like
the only reason I'd move back to Michigan is if the world is collapsing. That would be the one thing.
You're kidding me.
I'm with you.
Man.
My family's there. I love Michigan. I got my Michigan stuff.
I know, you got a
Western
Michigan gift here, too.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yes. All right, listen here, financial audit. I've curated my get that $5 sitting $20, $5, and for the sale of the head shark.
A shark, yes.
For the hammer.
You're the hammer.
There are not sharks
and
in
I
Lake
love
Michigan.
sharks, but I love Shark Week.
You love Shark Week?
Oh, God. Yes, there's a whole story there.
Okay.
Do you want to hear it?
No.
Okay.
Based, dude. I'll be real. I have done that, man. I have done that so many times. Like, and this is like it's really an exclusively woman thing. I don't know, man. At least in my experience, it's like I have a whole story about that. Should I tell you? And it's like you're like about to say yes because it's the polite thing to do, and then like in your mind, it tumbles over, and you really don't want to hear it actually.
Google Gretchen Whitmer and Shark Week. It's not just Shark Week. It's Shark Week. But anyway, yes. Hammerhead shark, because I love sharks. What else?
That'll push you over the edge
What
in
do you got?
2028. Shark Week. That's what I'm sorry. I'm just being a dick for no reason. Let's see. Oh, some coasters. I think. I'm feeling coasters. Look at that. The state of Michigan coaster. We love it. It is the Great Lakes state.
There
and
you
it is
go.
the Mitten State, Wisconsin. F off. Like,
Right.
what are they doing?
Wisconsin, give me a break.
Yeah. Tell them to f off.
Fork off.
Okay.
Bro, she completely caved. Dude, she wants to run for president in 2028. Are you insane?
Give me a break.
Yeah. Tell them to f off.
She has zero anything. Like, she's literally a box of tissues.
Fork off.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay. I really appreciate it. I would love to learn more about personal finances being taught.
Something more. Oh, wait. Here's the...
Oh, yeah, Natty. This is exciting, and I want to close the conversation on a happy note with that. But
Okay,
yes,
we'll save it.
Western
All right.
Michigan, the national championship in college hockey last year. Thank
Hockey
you.
puck, yes. They beat my alma mater, Michigan State, on the way. So
You're damn right. We split with Michigan this weekend.
Yes.
But personal finance being
Yes.
taught in school.
So,
Bro, JD Vance is going to fucking obliterate her. Anyway.
there's no question
She's
that
not even making it past the Democratic primaries. She has no chance.
everyone needs to know personal finance. I remember talking to my daughter when she was taking algebra, and she's like, why do I need to know quadratics? I need to know how to pay my taxes and buy a house.
Completely and utterly true. Literally no one cares that b squared plus or minus the square root of 4ac minus b over 2a. No one cares about that. That is a useless formula that will never apply in your life. You know what they should teach you in high school? They should teach you how to invest in the stock market and pay taxes.
And, that sentiment, I think, is real, right? We've got to give people the tools they need to take care of themselves. And we got to do it before they head off to college and get that credit card when they're 18 years old and buy a stupid piano.
I still have it, thank you.
Okay, pianos aren't stupid, but to buy a piano at 18 was not smart.
It was horrible. It was stupid.
So, we want to, giving people budgeting, having a rudimentary understanding of markets and how to save. I'm always talking to my kids about maximize what you can. If your employer has some sort of a match, do the maximum. Like, that's what my parents always taught me. Right. And I did it my whole time. And I've been a public service, my whole life. I'm not complaining about what I make, but I don't make a fortune. It's public service. That's
You make $1 million a year.
part of it. As governor, it's $159,000 a year.
First of all, it's $177,000 a year, not $159,000. Second of all, you probably make around $1 million a year.
And certainly that's
Please
the
ask about insider trading.
highest I've ever been paid. So
A new book, right?
Yeah.
On the book.
I'm donating that money to
Really?
charity. I can't make additional money while I'm governor. So anyway,
Well played.
but the point is, like, you max it out. And we want people to
You see, the reason why I personally am successful in my life, thank God I'm a very lucky man. I invest, I work hard, I thank God help me, and here I am making a good living. And I have to say, it's all because I know how to find the length of the third hypotenuse on a right angle triangle. Every day I thank Pythagoras for giving me the ability to calculate exactly how on specifically a right angle triangle I can find the length of the hypotenuse. And quite honestly, it's because of that I am successful today.
Understand that. I think a lot of people get into trouble very quickly because they just don't have that rudimentary. Even my husband, who was a dentist, he went to school, K through 12, went to college 4 years, went to dental school 4 years, and then
have really nice teeth.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I paid a lot of money. I knocked these suckers out when I was in 8th grade. But anyway,
bro, there's no way he complimented her teeth. They're fake. Okay, next time she does her fake horse smile, I'll show you.
Was a dentist?
I noticed this immediately. These teeth are all. This is a fake tooth. These are all fake teeth. You could tell they're the wrong color.
He went to school, K through 12, went to college 4 years, went to dental school 4 years, and then
have really nice teeth.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I paid a lot of money. I knocked these suckers out when I.
Yeah, I'll show you. All right, you see, you see the black on top of the tooth. These are all fake teeth. bro, you made of plastic.
Suckers out when I was in 8th grade. But anyway, the point is, he graduated after all this schooling.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have any idea how to run a business. Yeah. No one taught him that.
Well,
he had to
dentists
learn
kill
that.
themselves.
Yeah. Oh God,
it's true.
I got dark fast.
No, it's true though. But high suicide rate.
But I had to, had to figure that out on the fly. Didn't get that rudimentary knowledge. So that's what we're trying.
Dentists are at their, inside of other men's mouths.
I do arm people with information.
And this was required for graduation.
Yes.
Very good. Is there any way out of it? Because I know sometimes you can take this is a slightly different class, but it's kind of adjacent, so you don't have to take that class.
I don't believe so. I think that this is, and anyone who's in 10th grade now will have to have had it in order to graduate.
Well, W for that, right? I mean, it's good. That's great.
It's important.
That's very important. Can you change one thing for me, though?
What?
This is so moronic. I don't understand, because Texas does it too. I think it's just Michigan and Texas, if I'm not mistaken. Tesla cannot be licensed as a dealer in the normal sense with the Michigan Vehicle Franchise Act in Michigan. I know we want to protect the auto industry, but we got new type of auto industry coming. I don't know if they build in Michigan, but let people just buy a car. And they have to avoid being in-state new direct sales under dealership law, so the sale is orchestrated out of state and then the vehicle titled in Michigan afterwards. And Tesla cannot directly own a service or repair faculty in Michigan under the same corporate structure.
That's what.
Literally, why not?
Stupid. It's really stupid.
It would take an act of the legislature to get it done. So I can't do it unilaterally. I will say this.
This is such a non-argument. Why do you keep shifting blame onto other people? Dog, you were just bitching about battery plants and EV cars. You just hate Elon Musk.
There's no shortage of Teslas driving on Michigan roads.
Yeah, but it has to be an order out of state. We have to do this in, if I buy the Cybertruck,
who would do that?
Well, I love my X. I'm just saying, I love my X. Cybertruck, not for me. But if I were to buy them, they're made in Austin. It gets shipped out of state, then back in. It's really silly.
That's weird.
It's just why is the government picking, well, I guess it's going full old school, Obama era, winners and losers. It's kind of are. You're picking
why
the old
is it the law in
dealership.
Texas? That is weird.
I don't know, but in Michigan
Why is it the law in Michigan? You're going to blame Texas when you do it too? You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, well,
I think the big three.
I can't make any decisions unilaterally. I can't actually do anything. I don't actually know anything. We need to ask other people. I shouldn't be here.
I think we can understand the history why that's the reality currently in Michigan.
But maybe
the Texas one's weird.
Get a little sucky Elon and try to get him to build some stuff in Michigan.
Hey man, Elon Musk wants to have a conversation about building in Michigan. I'm all ears. I'm game. Yes.
Come on in.
Why would you go anywhere else?
50% overcast of the year. Depression. I can't do it. I cannot do it. Now, student loans.
Also, the worst burger I've ever eaten in my entire life. I'm sorry, Michigan, you suck. I don't hate the people, but Detroit specifically, you what are you doing?
In the country, you'll probably be somewhere nearing the White House at some point. And right now, we got $1.63 trillion in student loans. That's crazy. In federal student loans.
Well, yeah, it's a blue area of retard people. That's right, guys. All of you gather together. This is incredibly important, retards. Go to college, go into debt, because you desperately need degrees in infinite gender theory. It will help you for life. You will know about all of the genders, and it'll be glorious.
Alone, not to mention private. And we got $40,000 for the average borrower. And 40% drop out, by the way. I'm among that 40%. And that is 45 million people have federal student debt. And delinquency rates are rising at 7.73%. Now, my big question is, the Trump administration through the BBB did enact some changes, and that kind of included the WRAP plan.
President Trump's new tax and spending law brings sweeping changes to the federal student loan system.
Total student debt in America is at $1.8 trillion. It's roughly tripled in the last 17 years.
A surge in past due student loans is sparking new concerns about the health of the U.S. economy.
Currently have 22,000,
56,000,
90,000,
134,000, $108,137.48 in student loans.
And she has a degree in fucking horse shit and bull codswallop.
Survey, 60% of younger borrowers said they'd be in their 40s before their student loans are paid off.
My daughter's going to a school she can't afford, $240,000 in debt. She's going to be a well-financed barista when this is over.
And simplifying a lot of the complicated repayment
And the
process.
worst part is, the degrees are majority useless. Imagine being in debt because you were forced by society to get a degree in, child castration.
And that means payments are set at 1 to 10%. But I've seen all over TikTok, a lot of people mostly on, the TikTok generation, like kind of far left, they're like, I'm not going to pay. Then they get their wages garnished. They're like, I can't afford to pay. And it's like 1% of their income. What is your thoughts on this? Because I know you have a different political philosophy than the president of the United States, but that doesn't seem like a bad thing. But everyone on the left side of the political aisle was like, this is evil.
Yeah, because they hate Trump and they don't actually care about the people. Their entire policy is anti-Trump right now.
Oh, where we're sitting right now, there's and every once in a while I smell toast. Do you smell the toast? Okay.
Yeah, at the bakery. You're not having a
stroke. So make sure I wasn't having like something going on. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yep, that's the worst. That is the worst tangent I've ever heard in my life. Yep, that is easily the worst sidestep I've ever seen.
I always forget to tell people.
When I went to college, way back in my day, the state picked up about 75% of my tuition, and my family and I had to come up with the other 25%, right? And nowadays, it's the exact opposite. So we have shifted. As a society, have said, it's not in all of our interests that we have an educated population. It's on you if you're going to pursue that. And so state picks up 25%, the individual picks up 75%, and they're putting more and more on credit cards, more and more taking out debt, right? And so this is a part of the equation that's gotten us here. Now, what is the solution? I think there's a lot of debate, and I don't think that there's any solution on the horizon right now. But I guess what I would challenge you and ask you is, what do you think? I mean, you've
got to be fucking kidding me. You are the governor of Michigan. You're asking a YouTuber his opinions? Dog, you are getting audited right now. This is a financial audit. He is asking you this question. You have got to stop.
Someone that you're closer to the generation.
Just say Trump was right, like usual, and I was too much of a pussy to back him, because that's the reality.
Talking about that's carrying all this debt.
I got
you had your amount of debt that you acquired. What do you think the solution is? Because
I think this potentially might have a part of the solution. One thing that many on the left are kind of angry about this, and trust me, bring a right-wing governor on and I'll critique their things too. You're just on the left wing, so obviously we're going to talk about things that are interesting. But they got upset that there are graduate borrowing limits, undergraduate borrowing limits. You talked about how 75% used to be paid for by the state. Now it's 25% and it's on the individual. Well, a lot of the times on the left we've seen borrow an infinite amount of money to go to college, no caps.
That's right. They want you to be in debt because they want you to be a slave to the system. They want to control your mind. They'll make it free so that they can indoctrinate you into the cult of furries and trans people. All right, and then now that you're in there, they'll own you forever.
Why wouldn't the colleges just continue to raise how much it costs to go there if you can borrow whatever? Right. If one goes up, the other's going to go up. So setting these caps should hopefully at least discourage, they have to have people in, butts in classrooms, right?
Yeah.
They have to. And if people can't borrow a certain amount to go there, they won't be able to go. My hope is that would hopefully, restrict.
They could force the college prices down because they're insane.
The endless increase of administrators and everything and just bull spending that colleges do. Now, unfortunately, foreign students, they pay cash, and that's an easy replacement. And another fear is people will just go borrow from the private student loans now. So, but I think what was kind of confusing to me is the solution.
The solution is colleges need to be absolutely gutted and destroyed. A lot of these fields need to be completely and utterly replaced, and only college degrees that can actually turn into an actual viable form of living should be instituted in these colleges. Most of it should be replaced with trade schools, and all of the sociology, liberal arts bullshit, all that garbage, learn it on AI. Just talk to ChatGPT. It'll give you whatever you need. Go free online course if you so desperately want to hear about surprise butt sex. All right, none of that should be in college at all. It's such a waste of everyone's time and money.
a solution on the left other than just keep raising what people can borrow forever. And of course, the schools are always going to just say, well, can I have more money then? Because you can borrow more.
Did you, when Biden supported, had his writing off debt plan, how did that hit you?
I wouldn't have qualified at that time. Actually, I think I may have due to my previous year tax return. I was qualified for like a smaller forgiveness, and I'll take free money. I'll take free money, but it wasn't a solution. It was nothing long term. It helps a select group of people that have already gone to school, but it doesn't help anyone in the future because it didn't address the actual
Trump was actually helping the economy. What do you say about that?
issue.
Right. It was interesting.
It's so funny how the Democrats used to be the party for like the working class, for like the people, and they really aren't anymore. Trump really flipped that because now Trump is fighting for the people, fighting for like the working class society. And the Democrats are like, well, we need to find an even lower class of society.
As I talked to people in Michigan, people who did take out debt had paid it off, who were so salty about the fact that someone else who hadn't paid off their debt could get it written off.
Yeah.
It was kind of interesting. It's a hard challenge to figure out what the equitable solution is because we don't want people carrying debt for their whole lives.
No, but letting people borrow infinite amount.
It doesn't.
In my, I went to high school in Michigan. I went to a good high school.
Yeah.
But still, every administrator and everything was borrow any amount to go to whatever school you want for whatever degree you want. We got people getting bullshit degrees that are not going to translate in the market, and they're borrowing whatever it takes to go to the school that has the sports team they care about. I mean, that's just not working.
Yeah. Well, we could have a whole conversation about sports and college.
If you were president in a hypothetical world, of course you will never run. But would you want the wealthy to pay more taxes?
Oh, shit.
Would I mean, just for the purpose of paying taxes or
Income,
for the
capital
purpose
gains.
of strengthening our,
Well, our national
economy
debt's
and
insane.
our paying off our national debt for purpose of our homeland security and making sure that we've got defense. I think we've got a lot of important things that we have not been doing.
But do you
that we need
advocate
to
for
do.
tax increases?
Answer the question.
I'm not here as a candidate for a higher office, and I'm not here to advocate for.
Oh my God. Look, if you can't even answer questions, like this is just frustrating as fuck. You're not willing to answer questions that's going on in your state. You're not willing to answer hypotheticals anywhere else. Like, what are we doing?
Or any
in
new
Michigan,
taxes,
would you
but
raise taxes?
in Michigan, I mean, we did just raise taxes on sales of cannabis.
But income taxes on individuals, or I know there's no capital gains taxes, but would you?
I have not introduced an income tax in Michigan. No.
And you wouldn't support it if it came across your desk?
It ain't coming.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just telling you. I know you. You want to play
conversation.
you want to play all the hypotheticals, but
Yeah,
I'm
well-
grounded in reality. It ain't.
I'm grounded in reality, so therefore I'm literally not going to answer a single question. I am going to gaslight, girl boss, and gatekeep every possible question you have. I'm going to sidestep. I'm going to blame it on Trump. I'm going to blame it on the electorate. What you're basically saying is you have no knowledge and you have no power. Why are you here?
Ain't coming.
Okay,
Why
but
am I
tax
going to take a
increases.
position on something that's never going to happen?
He's asking your opinion and you're refusing to answer.
Okay.
When you're president, would you propose higher taxes, income taxes?
Well,
on
I
the
don't
wealthy?
know. All that concerns me is, California, they've lost 1.6% of personal tax income because people can move anywhere now.
Completely correct. Everyone's leaving California because they want to tax the rich. Get ready for mass exodus from New York because they're electing a terrorist supporter and a guy that wants to increase taxes specifically on white people to 51%. There's going to be mass exodus. All right, you're going to think it's the Jews leaving Egypt the way people are going to be leaving New York. And the reality is, and you're not going to be happy to hear what I have to say. The reality is, everyone's moving to Florida and Texas because they're better. They're just fucking better. People want to live in a capitalist society. The socialist hellhole is literally designed for the bottom feeders. And I'm not trying to be rude to people that are having a hard time. People are having a hard time making a living, obviously. And I'm not criticizing those people. But the Democrat Party is literally trying their best to get the bottom feeders to vote for them by just promising them shit that the rich people are working for. And it's cancer. It's cancer on every part of society.
UK itself, they've lost 16,500 millionaires going all across the world. They're losing tax revenue substantially, 10% lost in taxes.
You want to hear a great example? They instituted new laws in California. Ben Shapiro moved his entire network out of California straight to Florida immediately. Immediately. The entire Daily Wire conglomerate was a California-based company. It all moved immediately. The taxes hit and they're like, no, sir. And they immediately evacuated. Same thing with Texas. Austin, Texas, for the record, and you could quote me on this in 10 years, Austin, Texas is becoming California too. It's becoming Neo-Los Angeles because all of Hollywood is moving there because they don't want to pay the taxes. They will vote in the blue retards and then they'll be like, wow, this shit sucks now. And they all immediately move. Because these are policies that are good for virtue signaling, but they're terrible for the economy. So they will vote in the retards and then they will move.
Capital gains taxes because they decided to close some loopholes and they're like, let's get people to pay the fair share. And now they're losing more tax revenue. So that's why I wanted to kind of hear your philosophy on this. And now we are wrapping up here. Can I ask a couple quick fires, Ms. Press Secretary? Sorry. Couple quick fires? Very cool. Quick fires. Very good. Michigan is a declining population state where southern states, Texas gained 4.3, Florida 4.7, where states like New York, Michigan, California are leaving. Why do you think that's happening? Why is that transition happening in this country?
I wouldn't say we're declining. We're not growing as fast.
Because the taxes are lower and everyone's moving to Florida and Texas and no one wants to be in fucking blue states. But if you include Dearborn, Michigan, there's a future.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's an important distinction.
The year of that this metric was taken, which was 2020 to 2023, that had a 0.3% loss.
In our last census, we were up a percentage point. So whatever. I mean, it's not worth quibbling. It's just the point that, we do have an older population in Michigan, and
the last one, they were up a percentage point. They imported people that breed all day.
I think that's part of why our strategy around it.
They let the orcs in the Shire. Gonna get so canceled.
Investing in people, places, and opportunities, that bring good paying jobs is going to continue to be really important. But I do have had a chief growth officer, first state in the country to do that. We want to stay focused on how do we grow our population. It's important.
And now in the state of Michigan, we are seeing Michigan Court Rule 6.
We want to grow our population. It's important. Let's just import people from other places. That's the solution. Let's just give American taxpayer dollars to people that aren't like natives. That way they'll want to be here and it'll increase the population. We'll have so many more people with pulses in the country.
106 provides that the default presumption is released on personal recognitions, which is no money bond or on unsecured bond rather than cash bail. We are starting to see even a shooting that happened in Austin over the weekend was someone that has already had multiple violent offenses.
True.
We know that individuals with 3 to 10 violent crime convictions represent only
I didn't think you would actually ask about this. That's crazy.
0.9% of the total population, but account for almost 50% of violent crime. And those who have been released from prison account for...
He's sitting here with statistics. Caleb, that makes you a fascist. Anyone that quotes statistics is a fascist. Are you not aware?
70% were rearrested within 3 years. Is these no cash bail systems that, we're tending to see places like New York, New Jersey, Illinois, DC, and we talked about Michigan, that actually benefiting people, or is it just, are we not keeping people safe like we want to?
Why are you not keeping the violent retards away from the people?
I'm proud of a lot of the trajectories that we're on in Michigan. I think that when it comes to the no cash bail, what we see is a situation where people without resources pay a much bigger penalty than those that do.
They're violent criminals. We're trying to keep them off the street. If there's no cash bail, they just end up killing more people. I don't care if they're poor. I don't want to get killed.
One more example of it is in the criminal justice realm. Our recidivism rate is really low in Michigan.
That's good.
I'm proud of that. But certainly, there are always going to be examples of where someone is, not a part of the general rule and is an egregious example. And I think you've just raised a couple.
And then 2 final rapid fires. First one.
It's just random coincidences, guys.
More sad. Second one, very happy. Political extremism. It's scary.
Yeah, I think we're in for a violent couple of years.
It's an ungovernable city.
People are exercising a lot of their rights to take it to the streets and get their voices heard.
Yeah, bombing police cars is not exercising your rights.
Extremism was the #1 issue in America.
An alarming rise in political violence across the U.S., targeting both Democrats and Republicans. Nearly a third of Americans...
Both sides, guys. It's both sides. It's only targeting Republicans. Don't be fooled.
Americans now believe political violence may be necessary to get the country back on track.
Yeah, but it's all the people on the left. Those 30% are literally all leftists. You've got to stop.
And broke into the Pennsylvania governor's mansion in April and set the dining room alight in an attempt to kill Governor Josh Shapiro and his family.
For the record, this person that lit the house on fire and tried to kill Josh Shapiro was a free Palestine nutcase radical leftist. So you've got to stop it. This doesn't count as right-wing political violence when a radical leftist tries to kill Josh Shapiro, who, yes, he's a Democrat, but he's not left-wing enough. That's still left-wing violence. Holy crap.
President Donald Trump is announcing on Truth Social, Charlie Kirk is dead.
The horror unfolded around 9 last night. A group of people leaving a young diplomat's reception at the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington when a gunman opened fire. Both diplomatic
who was this? This was a socialist.
Staff at the Israeli embassy were killed. Tonight,
tragedy. What a tragedy, man.
It's being investigated as a targeted terror attack.
It was a targeted terror attack. Perpetrated by a complete and utter violent piece of shit that should get the death penalty. And for the record, he got support. He got support by the radical left.
Right now it's 6:04.
This is not a both sides issue. This is a purely leftist issue.
We're happening today. Minnesotans will begin saying goodbye to a powerful political leader who was tragically assassinated in her own home.
Yes, it was a tragedy and it was a nightmare that she was assassinated. She was a leftist. She was assassinated by an appointee of Tim Walz, a leftist, and a guy that had no King's protesters in his car, a leftist protest. He assassinated a leftist lawmaker. The leftist lawmaker just passed a bill that was anti-illegal immigration. That's right. She voted on the side of Trump. Then she cried and apologized that she voted on the side of Trump. And then she was murdered by a guy that was tied to radical leftists. So again, this is not right-wing violence. You've got to stop. You have to stop doing this. It's not both sides.
Saying goodbye to a powerful political leader who was tragically assassinated in her own home.
But January 6th, guys.
I know people on Martha's Vineyard, who, if they had the opportunity to kill Donald Trump, probably would. They think he's Hitler.
We just saw Charlie Kirk get shot. Me, people are going to view me as more right-wing from this conversation because I push back on some left-wing policies. Sure. And if Governor Abbott from Texas was here, I'd push back on some right-wing policies. That's what happens. But people are going to see that, and they've already called me fascist and Nazi online just because I say personal responsibility is okay with money. Whoa, scary. But people are labeling that and then killing them because they're fascists. Kill all fascists.
Correct. He's right.
Just okay, maybe that makes sense. But if you label a normal person a fascist, you kill them. What do you think is going on with political extremism right now, and how would you solve it?
I think it's really dangerous when we have leaders who want to fan the flames of anger and violence. I think
No, you're not blaming Trump. You're not blaming Trump for the reason why people are trying to kill Trump.
We'll continue to see it grow, which is why I take it so seriously, which is why whether I'm the target of it or one of my colleagues on either side of the aisle is or the President of the United States is, I speak out against it every single time. Good. I don't make excuse for it. I do not accept it, no matter where it's coming from. It's not okay. And I think it's be refreshing if everyone with a platform did that.
And then final.
Yeah, that was a complete non-answer. What are we doing about political violence? Well, yeah, Trump is fanning the flames, and that's why people are trying to kill Trump. Yep, it's Trump's fault that people are trying to kill Trump.
Hey, the poll came out today.
He literally asked about the whole fascist thing. He's like, yo, what's this whole calling people fascist? I speak out against political violence. Non-answer.
Hey, and
notice she didn't mention her fake kidnapping.
AA hockey, the top 3 teams, Michigan State, Michigan, Western Michigan. We are the hockey state.
That's right.
We own this place. National champions last year, Western Michigan. I don't know. You're probably rooting for Michigan State, but I just want to share a little bit of hockey love here.
I love it. Let's go, man.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, future President of the United States, Governor Whitmer here. Thanks for joining us for this financial audit. I'd say, hammer financial score for the state of Michigan. Honestly, looks halfway decent. Couple pension concerns, couple of that overall net worth concern, but looking at about a 6 or a 7 out of 10. So CalebHammer.com for that. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you.
And don't forget...
Wild. Yeah, obviously, I don't blame Caleb for not pushing back on certain things. Like, she was not going to answer, and obviously he didn't want to come across as a total bitch, because he's definitely going to want other people on his show, so I think he handled this pretty well, all in all. She's a scumbag fraudster that knows nothing. She's never going to be the president. And thank you so much for being here. I hope you appreciate all the love that we put into making fun of retards, because if you hate retards, this is the place to be. If you love retards, this is also the place to be. Subscribe. I'll see you later. Bye. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.